welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond. I am November Kelly. I am joined, as always, by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hello.
Hello.
We're finally done. We come
done.
to bury Frank Transporter, not to praise him. This is...
His beloved car will be his grave.
Finally, his beloved car will be his grave. It already is, because this isn't the Frank Transporter we know. This is some other guy.
They made him straight
It's
for the
true.
reboot, and it's bullshit.
They did make him straight in the reboot, yeah. I know he was straight in all three movies thus far, but we had a very strong belief that he wasn't. And in this one, it's it's impossible to even keep that going.
It's sort of like, you know how they did a bunch of beloved intellectual properties, like Ocean's 8, right? Where they're like,
of course.
oh, feminism is one, we've got to make this like more diverse. And then those things did not do well for a number of reasons, and then they retreated back. Then part of the backlash. That's what the Transporter refueled is, but the first three Transporter movies were all the woke ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
cards on the
crazy,
table.
really.
I think this is quite possibly the most misogynistic movie we've seen on this podcast.
I was wondering how far into double digits we could get.
Yeah, no, this is
I think this is
bad.
worse than Goldfinger in terms of its misogyny. I think this might be one of the most misogynistic movies I've ever seen. And I've seen like pornography.
I think just like the technology exists to make a transporter movie where the thing being transported isn't a trafficked woman, but thus far they've been completely incapable of making that happen.
Yeah, it's like I can think of several interesting stories about transporting things that are not trafficked women.
You can also see them, and in particular, I believe you can see Luc Besson trying to beat the allegations in the way that this movie is fucking written.
Oh, this is his If I Did It movie.
It so fucking is. We'll get into this.
Yeah, because this is kind of the what if I trafficked women because I supported women.
What if I loved women so much that I was helping to traffic them on their own terms?
Yeah.
I want to put this out at the start here. Transporter, listen, the character of Frank Transporter is a guy who drives a car really good, and he's got like three key rules, and he never breaks the rules, and he transports really good. And every single one of these movies has been nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It caused him to break his rules immediately. I would love a movie that had him as the protagonist in it, right?
Yeah,
like where it was like
just shit happens around him.
exploring Frank Transporter instead of just he's here, fuck it, whatever.
If the protagonist was Anna, and if Frank Transporter wasn't in this movie, it would be interesting. Anyway.
Oh, we'll get to Anna.
Before we do like emergency script doctoring, right?
Okay.
So we start with a flashback to the French Riviera in
Christ.
It's
in
1995, so it's 35 minutes past 8.
No couching at all.
We're in the red light district of the French Riviera, a known place.
Naturally.
I do want to note that this is a bit that feels quite racist to me, in that everyone that we see on screen is black, but everyone that we see on screen is either a sex worker or a pimp.
Yes.
And the whole soundtrack is a diegetic, very loud hip hop song, which is kind of anachronistic for 1995 in the style as well. And it's just kind of setting up like, interesting set of interesting kind of construction you've made here, Luc Besson.
Yes, as always, we start with some slightly racially charged caricatures, but hey, don't worry, they're not going to be here for very long, because immediately a different group of
different and whiter group of criminals.
Russians, obviously, because we can't make a movie that isn't Russians.
Yeah, this is shocking. This convoy rolls up. This like two vans and a black Mercedes. Some dudes get out and just open fire on the crowd. They just gun down these women. At which point the van doors open and a bunch of 10 out of 10 smoke show white women get out and replace them.
Yep.
And it's like brutal and shocking.
It is it like
opening scene,
and so the Eastern Europeans take over the red light district.
Yeah.
With their clocky women. And we see the main guy whose name, and we'll get to this in as sort of like me complaining about everything else, is scrolling Karasov.
Yeah, Karasov.
And he like leaves one of these guys alive to like go back and say like the French Riviera belongs to me, Karasov.
He gives him a business card, which is an
He does.
extremely funny thing for a villain to do. 'Cause also the business card is just his logo. It doesn't have like Karazov at hotmail.co.uk on the back of it. Like, it's just...
Yeah, all of his
cool.
sex workers have a necklace, like a mandatory necklace with his logo on it, which is like a heart being pierced with a dagger.
Yeah.
And the heart looks kind of like an ass.
And one of the former prostitutes is like, you know what? This seems like the kind of dynamic, go-getting organization I could really be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to defect to Eastern Europeans.
Yeah, this is Maissa. She gets in the car and goes away with Karazov. She is a woman of color, but like she is noticeably paler than the rest of the people who've just been shot.
Which
is
true,
like,
yes.
Yeah.
She's also not a character.
Yeah, not really.
I do know that we explicitly call this prostitution, though, like in the script, which is something that I think a lot of action movies of this type tend to kind of swerve around. And I'm just trying to map all of Luc Besson's shitty opinions onto like a normal political compass, and the idea of calling Luc Besson a swerve is like one
really
of the
good.
funniest things I can fucking
We're
think
cancelling him, but over that, like that's
yeah, cancelling him wokely, but
Nothing
not in that
else.
way.
No. But so Karazov, one of his girls, Anna, is very upset by this, and he tells Anna to smile, and then he gets in his car with Maissa and drives away. And
it's very like explicit that it's kind of this guy dominating these women in a way that is bad, but also in a way that is filmed in a very kind of male gaze fetishistic way.
We will fucking get to that.
Yes. Oh yeah, this is the baseline where I'm like, this seems a little bit male gaze. It's gonna rocket up from here. It's gonna look like fucking COVID cases in like 2021.
Yeah. Or number of grapes stolen by James Bonds when we get to Connery. You know?
Yeah. The other problem that I have here is when I said I had to look up his name, it's because I can't fucking hear.
Yeah. What the fuck is happening? No subtitles? 2015?
No subtitles. I can't hear without my subtitles, and everyone has a really heavy accent. Like all of the Russians are doing like, we have big plan, you know. All of the sex workers, in fact, all of the women in this movie, which is to say that's interchangeable.
Yes.
Are all doing what I like to think of as the international accent of models.
Yes. They all come from the country of models.
Yeah.
Trying to get a fucking visa.
Yeah, where the fuck is?
Because like that's in some of the Bonds too. But Gems, I need you. But like
they're all from like French, Italy, German, transsexual London. Like
yes, exactly. It's an accent that I can't necessarily mimic very well.
Yeah, it's an accent that you get if you go to a lot of fashion weeks in various different European locations.
You have been sort of plucked out of, I don't know, Moldova or South Sudan or a car park in Hounslow and dumped into like Paris Fashion Week as a kind of seer school experience. Yeah. So through all of this,
found in the wilderness and raised by models.
Oh god!
Oh, like Jason Bourne. That's
can only walk cunty. That'd be really funny.
To George Lazenby.
Found raised by models.
It's a really good.
We shall raise him as our own. But so
they told me to eat nothing. Actually, a
group of models. He's like floating down the river in like a basket, and it comes across a group of models.
Like 10 out of 10, just on the river, just serving. Yeah.
All right, hang on.
They
Copyright Kill James Bond.
Yeah, they showed me how to prepare the traditional model dish of tissues. Sorry, that was quite dark for 9 minutes.
These are some fucking accents, right? And they're all crashing into each other.
I just realized. You know who was found as a child and raised by models?
Who?
I can't say it or bleep it, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Put a bleep in there.
Yeah.
So my point is, I'm guessing all of the dialogue here is my best guess because it's filtered through a guy going, "We have big plan," to a girl going, "Gems, we need you," and it's all really mixed poorly. Like we've talked about what happens when one particular guy doesn't show up. This is when the sound engineer doesn't show up. This is it's edited badly, it's recorded badly, and so I can't fucking hear.
Yeah. 15 years later, Anna is in a restaurant or like a hotel bar.
She looks the same.
She's aged phenomenally. I will say that. She looks great. And she gets a phone call. The plan is in place. And the phone call is from a woman who says, "I love you." My notes say lesbianism, ?
I also wrote lesbian ?
I hoped so, but the movie will dash our expectations.
We now have to rip away from this interesting lesbian woman to
Yeah.
The same garage scene again from Transporter 1.
Yeah, some racially charged caricatures have arrived to fuck with Frank's car, and he's going to deal with it epic style.
These guys are like ambiguously like Balkan, basically.
Yeah.
And there's like 20 of them, and they're all crowding around his completely mid Audi S8. Like,
it's really funny.
Middle manager car. And they're going like, oh, we could steal this one. And then he emerges from the shadows, and I go, that's not Frank Transporter.
That's not Frank Transporter.
That you've given Nicholas Hoult the Giga Chad surgery.
He looks like Nicholas Hoult, doesn't he? Doesn't he? He looks like Nicholas Hoult if he was like, punished Nicholas Hoult. But I don't know. It's Ed Skrein. He's on new Frank Transporter. He's been recast. He has hair. It's retreating faster than Germany in 1944, but it is there on his head.
Very slowly in the south, but everywhere else, it's crumbling.
He's young and he's a Brit. They didn't even make him try and do an accent. He's just like, I'm Frank Transporter, isn't it?
Well, I believe that he is very much trying to do an accent.
The accent also enters into the accent dome because he's trying to do Statham.
I'm Frank Transporter.
But there's a difference in that Statham pronounces his T's, like he really enunciates them, whereas Ed Skrein is like glottal stop city. He's the transporter.
I don't know what Ed Skrein actually really sounds like in real life.
Probably not this,
sounds
because
like this,
I don't know anyone that sounds like this.
Yeah.
It's sort of like he's not trying to do the American thing anymore.
Yeah.
But he is trying to imitate Statham. He gets some of the mannerisms and stuff, which is nice. No, that's charming. But like,
it's cool. It's a nice performance. I quite like him.
He's saddled, unfortunately, here with a really dog shit script.
Yeah.
And so he emerges from the shadows and he's like, you can't break into my car because of technology.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you think they can't come up with something, they come up with something else.
I also wrote that down.
Yeah.
Great.
Lines
Amazing line, man. Cool.
On paper. Great.
Technology.
At this point, I have to talk about like performance assisting technology because I tend to watch stuff on Amazon, which has the like little fucking Amazon X-ray thing. So when you pause to, for instance, write down the line just as soon as they think you can't come up with something, they come up with something else. You get the little bar along the bottom of the screen that gives you all the actors and their roles in that screen, in that scene. And at this point, I discover he is credited as Frank Martin Jr. and I go,
that makes sense, right?
That's Frank Martin's kid whom he carried in his womb. Yeah, of course. That makes sense. That fits with my worldview. Yeah.
Son of the Transporter.
Frank Martin was pregnant with this guy during Transporter 3.
That makes him Inspector Tarconi's son.
Exactly.
I buy that. Yeah,
he is.
Mm-hmm.
This will not bear out.
Being raised by Frank Transporter and his French police wife. Yeah, no, perfect.
He beats up these guys. It's a decent fight scene. One of them has a taser. One of them has a knife. Frank takes the knife off one of them and throws it at the other guy and does hit him with it, which is a bit strong. He doesn't kill anyone.
He non-lethals everyone else, but he does throw that knife at a guy.
Yeah, that guy is going to have to go to the emergency room.
But there is one bit that I like when the first guy pulls the knife on him. He like takes the knife away from him with like a shopping bag, and the other guys in the kind of ambiguously Balkan mugging crew all laugh at that guy, and it's like, oh, you're giving them social anxiety, man. You can't do that. Like fucking up the robbery so bad your own boys are laughing at you.
Yeah, he does give them he gives them a lot of warnings and stuff. So Frank doesn't kill people. He's like Batman in that sense, which I quite like. Or tends
he
not
leaves
to.
them all kind of like rolling on the floor.
He Uncle Chops one of the guys, which I really like. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. There was an expandable baton as well involved, and I'm always a fan of those. I always think there should be more of those.
He puts on what might well be the worst pair of sunglasses in the world. These are terrible. They don't suit his face shape at all. Awful. Gets in his car and drives away.
Yeah. Cool. He drives through the French Riviera. Very nice to film in.
Yeah.
You know, same as the Johnny English ones, where it's just like, you guys just wanted to work somewhere nice, huh?
Yeah.
Somewhere nice, if you will. But so he arrives at the British consulate, and I go, this wants to be a Bond movie. It's weird how much this wants to be a Bond movie.
It really does. Because he's got to pick up his dad.
And I was like, oh, yes, let's go.
Jason Statham in an elder statesman role, of course.
His dad is going to be Jason.
Yeah.
No.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's some other
cunt
cunt.
who is not Jason Statham, and at that point, I'm not interested. You know.
Yeah.
It's Ray Stevenson. Fine.
Mm.
A good actor. Now sadly dead, I think.
Yeah, he died at work. He died
did.
on set for something else.
Oh my god! Did they get the shot?
Not this, but sorry.
Did they get the shot though?
Hard to say. I mean, I don't think it was a very good movie. Is the problem?
He was filming Casino in Ischia, I believe.
Oh,
I don't even know where an Ischia. Anyway,
it's an Italian island.
He's doing kind of Russell Crowe, but like urbane.
Yeah. He's kind of like Discount Roger Allam. It's good. It's a good performance. It's nice. Nicely acted.
The first episode of the Ahsoka series is dedicated to him.
Damn, hell yeah.
I would have loved a better series to be dedicated to me, but that's fine. That's totally fine. He is not. He is simply not Frank Mine Sr. I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
He's just some fucking.
He's not meant to be. Jason
It's ambiguous in the thing until the plot spools out a bit more whether or not he's Frank Transporter, the like original one, and his son's like following in his footsteps, or he's just some guy and this is really a reboot. Like it's they've read the boot here.
Yeah, they really have. But he's just retired. And now he's going to come and live in France. Their relationship is a little bit frosty.
Yes.
They kind of both know what the other one does for a living. So Frank Sr. used to be a spy.
He's James Bond.
He's James Bond.
He's retired James Bond.
Yeah.
He's Geralt of Rivia in the like Blood and Wine DLC. He's like a bon viveur now.
He is, yes.
He likes his wine. He likes women also in a kind of sleazy way.
Yeah. And he knows that his son is the transporter from the Transporter movies.
I know you've been transporting, son.
Yeah.
So, Dad, I've been transporting.
He also gives him a real hard time about being like 38 seconds late, and he has another line because this is
it's a line-heavy movie. Yeah,
there's several degrees of early and only 1 degree of late, and that's too late. Masterful. Get out of the car. Shut up.
Fuck you. Shut up. Give me another scene. Give me a different scene. Show me Anna.
Yeah. Cut back to fucking people we actually like.
Yeah.
So there's 2 Russian gangsters in a hotel. They're impatiently waiting to meet a girl. The girls here are Gina and Kia. And then when Gina walks in, she's or is it Maria? I forget. But anyway,
the like alarmingly bald Russian gangster gives them a hard time about being late as well, and I'm like, this is fucking like middle school here. Like, Belle doesn't dismiss you, I dismiss you, ass.
Was there a delay on set when Luc Besson was writing this between other things? Yeah, whatever. And then they just fucking kill both these gangsters with a silence pistol, which I like.
I my note just says alarmingly bald man killed. They search his inventory for his keys.
They stand next to his body and press square.
Yeah, it flies up into their inventory.
They're speaking to each other this whole time, and at this point, the accents are out of control because it's 2 slightly different dialects of model combined with "We Have Big Plan" guy. And at this point, it's like it's worse than Eurovision scoring. I'm just like looking forward at the screen, like what?
Calling this shit Eurovision.
So after they kill these 2 Russian gangsters, they have a third sex worker's corpse stashed in the closet. And they do take a couple of lines to explain, we did not kill this woman, she died of a heroin overdose.
She's just in a suit carrier like that guy from GCHQ. It's rough.
Yeah.
But so they kick her out of the thing, and
they plant the necklace on her.
Yes.
The Karazov necklace, and then they set the room on fire.
Yeah.
And then
How
they
do they
kiss.
set the room on fire? There's a little technique to this.
Yeah. So this is confusing. So they start by filling the sink and they put a towel in so as to block the drain so it overflows. And I was like, smart, that makes sense. And then they the towel is hanging down to the ground and they spray it with lighter fluid and set fire to it. And I don't know why they turned the tap on at all. I have no idea why that factors into the idea.
They throw like a hairdryer into the sink to start like an electrical fire.
You're so right. They just interesting.
Very odd. And also, as this ruse will be immediately discovered later on because the 2 gangsters have been shot in the head and the police will notice this. But anyway, and then as this room is on fire, they kiss on the mouth, and I'm like, gay.
Yes. Okay.
Please,
all
fingers
right,
crossed.
All right, you're cooking. What have you got?
This is where the group chat, both of you are like, okay, this rules.
Yeah, I'm back on board.
It's
I'm
so
back
over.
on
so
board
back
here.
Yeah.
Same. Charts.
Yeah, and the movie kind of yanks on the chain quite a bit in the first act to do that.
Yeah, I think the only thing I've said in the group chat about this movie is getting queer baited by Luc Besson is like losing at chess to a dog.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I did lose.
We go to Frank Transporter's house where it's like a horrible landlord new build type beat.
Fucking awful.
Good cheap filming location though. It's just an Airbnb. Just rent that for a day.
His dad's doing like dad stuff, like being like, I don't know how to work the coffee machine.
Coffee flavored coffee.
Yeah, and it's not a coffee machine. It's a juicero or something.
You should get married.
Yeah, said you should get a woman in here.
Mm-hmm. And
cool.
The thing is, his dad's cover is that he worked for Evian, the French water company, and you can tell because there's a shot of like a bottle of Evian in every scene.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask how much did Evian kick in for this, and I don't know the answer to that, but they get a lot of promo in this.
Yeah.
Anyway, odd. Yeah.
Frank gets a call from Anna and it's like, I'm looking for a transporter. I hear you're a transporter. And he's like, yeah, that's me. I'll meet you at this place. At this point, I'm sorry to whoever edited this film, but I am going to track you down.
Someone edited this film?
Yeah, someone did. A man did. I don't know that, but I know it from watching the film that a man did this. Because we now cut to Karazov's yacht where he's hanging out with his boys.
This is the funniest show I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, because it's PG-13, we can say prostitution, but all of these guys actually seem to do, and this recurs, is I've hired and dominated these beautiful women to stand around listlessly in lingerie in front of me.
Yeah. They're
I'm really sorry. I just pulled up who the editor was. It's Julian Ray with an E. And I pulled this up on IMDb and it says Julian Ray is known for Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, Lucy 2014, and Anna 2019. 3 dog shit movies. Great work, man.
Tracks.
Amazing. Great. Official James Bond position.
Named person.
You're gonna have to bleep that. No, I don't mean that. But I do think, and to be fair, the script is also not your friend here. But this is some fucking misogyny. Because we see these 3 women dancing around, listlessly dancing in lingerie. And maybe a director of photography too, you're on the list. Because so many of the shots here, you will have, instead of just like a normal mid or an MC, like a mid close-up of the actor who's speaking, you will have that. And then in the kind of like far third of the frame, you'll just have like a woman's ass. And it's like, these women are literally props. They are literally part of the set dressing. And like, you cannot have it both ways. You cannot have a film, like, is the film telling us that the exploitation of these women is abhorrent and villainous, or are you telling us that it is sexy? And it is disgusting to me.
They do it to Anna a bunch later on.
Yeah.
I have a different complaint, which is that they show us a bunch of flashbacks to people we saw 12 minutes ago.
Yes.
To like reestablish who they were.
Because we introduce Karazov again, and then we get a flashback to the last scene he was in. But functionally, what this means is,
all right, don't worry.
That's the funniest part, is doing a flashback to the same guy when he had a worse haircut. And then I go, okay, yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah, cool.
But then we reintroduce all 3 of his boys, and they all get flashbacks too.
Yeah, he's got 2 boys, one of whom is Yuri, who's bald, and the other one, as far as I can tell, is Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
I believe
and
so,
he gets a flashback.
They all get flashbacks to reestablish that these are the guys from the start, and it's like, I know, I just saw it.
Yeah, and then we also get Maisa there, and she gets a flashback.
Yeah,
12 minutes of screen time ago, I last saw these people.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm sorry. Was I going to confuse the one person of color in your script with anybody else?
Yeah. Also, he's got the big logo above his head. We know who this guy is.
He's got his username just hanging over his head.
Yeah.
Maisa gets the call.
Yeah.
And then we cut across town. And we have Karazov identifying the burned corpses of the guys from the hotel room. And they're like,
this is such a good dubbed scene.
Shit. Yeah, God, this cop should have been Tarconi. It should have been Tarconi.
I really hoped not, right? This cop left so little impression on me that later on, when they mention like some French police inspector from Nice is coming, I'm like, oh boy, let me reintroduce the Tarconi. I'm genuinely excited to meet the new one. No.
No Tarconi, tragic.
This cop is like, yo, everybody knows that you're Karazov, you're the villain of the movie. Why is this girl dead in a hotel room with your logo around her neck and also these 2 corpses who've been burned and shot? And he's like, I don't know. I am legitimate businessman. Do not ask me questions.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, anyway, somebody killed your mans and one of your girls is involved. So we're on to you, you piece of shit. He's like,
he's like threatens him in a way that's like, don't conduct a parallel investigation that's going to drive the plot of the movie.
You better
And he's like,
not.
okay, I won't.
Yeah,
And he does not.
And then he doesn't come back.
Yeah.
He comes back once at the end, but other than that, no effect.
Yeah. Barely even noticed.
Not Jason Statham, Frank Transporter, goes to meet Anna.
Ed.
And they try to do Bond with it.
It's so embarrassing.
They try and do Smug, and it fucking sucks.
These 2 actors have chemistry, but this script is just like, in the same way that like Table Salt has chemistry, you know?
Yeah,
I'm kind of grateful that I can't hear half the lines at this point.
So Frank has he has his 3 rules as
he
usual.
reintroduces his
ones.
3 rules. Get ready for those to come back up.
Yeah, never.
Frank Transporter, don't tell me your name.
I won't tell you mine. Shit, I just did.
Fuck.
Don't change the deal,
change.
and I won't open the package.
The deal doesn't change, and I don't want to know what's in the package.
She's like, you're going to transport me and 2 packages from this location to Monte Carlo tonight. He's like, cool. Also, this is the middle of the day, and Frank orders a whiskey, so no drunk driving is apparently not one of Frank's rules, which is very funny.
He notably doesn't drink it once he finds out that he's going to be working in 3 hours' time. So he's just...
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's fine. You know what? Pretty good character.
Presumably he drove to get here, though.
The Transporter films take a kind of like pro-road safety approach. There's also a bit earlier where he like really scolds his dad for like talking on the phone while he's driving.
Yeah. He says, aren't you going to get that? And he goes, I don't use the phone while I'm driving. So he goes, I don't use the phone while I'm driving. All right, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Sick.
She specifically says it's going to be her and 104 kilograms of packages.
And that's like what, 2 models?
Yeah, that's exactly 2 models.
Yeah, we will get their exact weights later on, which is
Don't worry about
that. Cool.
Meanwhile, Frank's dad is purchasing an expensive bottle of wine, and he's being a jammy cunt while he does it.
He is.
Yeah.
Annoying.
The really funny bit is...
so you go ahead.
Yeah, the guy goes, oh, this is like a 900 euro bottle of wine. Maybe I can get you something cheaper. And he goes like, oh, that's so expensive. Mimes as if to drop it by accident.
Yeah.
And is then like, no, it's fine. I'll get this. Is this okay? Slides the platinum Amex across the thing.
It's like,
who takes Amex?
We don't take Amex, mate.
Yeah,
sorry. Obviously, we don't
Visa
take Amex.
MasterCard,
Can you
like,
please get a Visa? You can't have a $900 fuck. Cut that. You can't have a $900 bottle of wine on a fucking Amex.
No. You'll get a lot of air miles with it, though. So Frank can't meet him for dinner. So he's like, oh, shit, I guess I'll just have to share this nice bottle of wine with this 10 out of 10 blonde model who's got car trouble by the side of the road. Can I help you, ma'am?
Yeah. Oh, I guess I need a broad, and just like locks on to the nearest woman.
Yes.
And it's just like, that'll be the one.
The nearest woman is an obviously model who is like leaning over her car, like, my car's broken and my tits are really big and I can't see the car engine over my massive tits.
I'm here diplomatically from the nation of model, and I'm here. Yeah. My car's fucking broken down.
There's a little flag on the boot. Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the model embassy.
The number plate is Mod 1.
But yeah, so obviously Frank Sr. engages like Mission Impossible nonce protocol and like beelines towards her.
Yeah,
and she goes, "Oh, my tits are stopping me from driving," and while his back's turned, tases him, which is the correct response.
Shuts him in the boot. I love it.
To a British person speaking to you.
This is Maria, who is model number 4 in this gang of 4. So that's cool. Frank waits outside the bank. Anna comes out in a cocktail dress and a blonde wig. 2 identically dressed and wigged women get in. This is Gina and Kia.
This is almost shot for shot the first bank robbery scene from Transporter 1.
It is. It is.
And additionally, if I had a penny for every time we've discussed a poorly considered 2010s reboot of an early 2000s film series that prominently features 3 women dressed identically to full security cameras, I would have 2 pennies.
Yeah.
It's weird that happened
blonde
twice.
Wigs.
In blonde wigs.
Yeah.
Same haircut, actually, I think.
If we're still in the building when security does their next sweep, we're all going to French Riviera prison.
we're all going to model prison.
Damn, I hope so.
I would love to go to. Tell me how I go to model prison.
You have to commit model crimes.
It's actually brutal. God, Model Island is not a democracy.
Yeah, they make you eat.
It's a cuntocracy. It's whoever's cuntiest is just in charge. Like,
then the prison food, it exists. They make you eat it. If you do model crimes.
Oh my god.
It's really fattening. Prison food at Model Island is just like really fattening.
Getting issued your prison clothes, and it's like some incredible heels and like some tape. Like.
So every woman in this movie is beautiful, but in a model way, right? It's like the culmination of Transporter series' thing of like adventures in model casting. And I've learned that it works okay when you give a model like an actual like big part. The only problem is that maybe they can't act and they walk like a model. If you give models every female part, it's like I would like some acting.
I do like
please.
the actor who plays Anna. She does a good performance. But anyway,
but so the two girls get in the car, and Anna's like, "These are my two packages. I'm making you break your second rule.
I'm making you break your third rule." I hate this movie. Frank Transporter is a man with 3 rules, and every movie is like, how quickly can we get those rules out of the fucking way so we can do the movie? And it's just like, write a movie with the rules in. Like, why is it? Step 1 is like, all right, these are our 2 packages. You now know what the packages are. Rule 3 broken. My name's Anna, by the way. Rule 1 broken. And the deal has obviously changed. So get fucked. Are you going to do the movie or what?
Why is Frank in this? Like,
what is happening?
Why can't any of these women drive?
This is a reboot. You wrote this like fucking 10 years after the previous one. You hadn't had a single thought of how to incorporate the fucking rules into the movie in an interesting and fun way.
Yeah.
Luc Besson?
I did have a thought though, which is
7 years after, sorry.
When she's doing like, these are my 2 packages, they weigh like, like 55 kilograms and like fucking whatever. I don't do maths. It adds up to 104 kilograms. Just Frank doing the thing from Transporter
49.
1 and being like, one of you weighs 1 kilogram too much for the shocks that I had installed on the car.
Just be like, one of you has to kill yourself now.
Again, they're models. They're used to this.
But he's not in control of the scene. Anna is.
No,
so he's instead the one like sweating and stressing out because the cops have walked over.
Yeah, and she shows him in full view of the cop, by the way, like video on her phone that's like, hey, it's your dad. He's been kidnapped.
Yeah. What's up?
By our sort of like Red Brigade of models. Yeah,
by Maria. And we're going to kill him unless you do what we say. So Frank's like, shit,
I hope
okay.
you're excited, and I hope you think it's dignified for the protagonist of this movie to be saying the phrase, my dad, about
constantly
50 times a second.
He's so fucking dad oriented in this movie. It's crazy.
He loves his dad, despite them not getting on seemingly.
We do have a pretty well shot and edited and performed car chase.
Yes, we do.
We've seen this car chase before. It's the same one from Transporter 1, but
credit where credit's due.
We have silly little Monegasque police cars.
We do.
Like 4 of them. And we get a really, really good, like, well, not really good, we get a good car chase.
Yeah.
And what I will say is, how I asked earlier, how much do you think Evian kicked in for this movie? I guess Evian kicked in a lot for steam jacks because they flip every single silly little police car
that
they are given.
Yeah. They also get chased by motorcycles, and a stuntman comes off the motorcycle and does a cool slide. I'm like, the stunt team had a great time on this one.
We like a silly little European police motorcycle. That's a novelty. We love stunts, and these have some good stunts.
Yeah.
It's like they crash a lot of cars. It's like BeamNG.drive in here. It's good. It's good.
It's good.
And it's sort of, you get hit with, or I get hit with the kind of hauntology of you will never be driving a silly little police car in Monaco. But given how the driving goes for them, maybe that's for the best. You know?
Frank does go to a roundabout and perfectly knocks all the fire hydrants around it.
Yeah.
So that they spray water and cause the motorcycle cops to crash. And my notes say, ha ha ha, Lamau.
Yeah, we get a crash zoom on a fire hydrant that made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Barked like a seal.
Yeah.
Every dog in the audience is like, damn, I gotta piss.
Then we have my favorite thing that happens in the movie, because it's conceptually the funniest thing. One of the things that we've seen about Frank Transporter's very nondescript black Audi S8 is that he has still the James Bond number plate changing thing that changes the number plate. And we know that the cops have the description of his car, which is, the black Audi S8. He goes into like a garage, and he's like, we've got to change cars. So they get out of the car that can change number plates out of the black Audi S8 into, to completely avoid suspicion, a dark gray Audi S8.
I love movies.
Yeah.
What are you? Yeah, interesting.
Magnificent. And then he presses the button on his keys that blows up his car. And I'm like, this is a really funny way to tell me that you had like a block of Semtex in your car the whole time.
Yeah. And then he throws the detonator into a bin, and that also blows up, which is quite funny. Because I was about to write down what about the detonator, and then that blows up, and I'm like, okay, all right, you thought about this. Okay.
Walking around with so much explosives on you.
It's like a Man from U.N.C.L.E. agent.
Rigged to the nines with Semtex.
Yeah. He's got nice high beams in my rearview mirror. I say as I move my hand to the blow up my car, killing us both instantly.
All my suits are fucking tailored with fucking deck cord.
Necktie.
Worst case scenario, I'm gone. I blow the clothes off, I guess.
My deck cord necktie. I just fire off, instantly decapitating myself.
Yeah, you're like a Man
You
from
activate
U.N.C.L.E.
it by
agent.
yanking the necktie really hard.
You pull two buttons on your suit together and they explode.
People don't know this. But Frank Transporter is made primarily of tannerite, and so every time somebody fights him, it's so dangerous.
That's why he doesn't use guns.
Oh god, that's good. But the payoff for this is we get to a warehouse where Frank's dad is hanging out being an old cunt.
Yeah, they've got him a pint in like an old-timey pint.
Yeah,
jug.
Cool. All right.
Maria kind of implies that she fucked his dad. Not really sure what that's all about, but she's here too.
It's because he's James Bond.
Anna's like, look, I've got a new deal for you. Okay. At this point, the girls in the background just start changing.
Yes.
And that is just shown again.
Fully
these women
in
are
the
props.
back, just in the shot.
Props.
The most prominent things in their hideout are clothes racks.
Yeah,
for one
it's
thing.
Fucking crazy. Yeah.
And the whole rest of the scene, there is like a woman dressing or undressing, and it's really exploitative and it's really grim.
They say, well, we've poisoned your dad. He's got 12 hours to live. Play ball, or we'll kill you both.
The way that she does this is so good, because she's like, oh, you think we're stupid? I've got this big cooler over here. And as she opens it up, I hear the Cerveza Cristal thing in my head. And she's like, no. We in fact have big plan.
Yeah.
We've got these vials, right? Your dad has been poisoned, like in the transporter 2?
Probably.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get the antidote in 12 hours, he will die. So you've got to do what we say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Okay, cool.
At this point, Karazov has rounded up. Yeah. Again, there are 10 out of 10 smoke shows lined up in a warehouse, and that's 100 smoke points. That's a lot. That's
so
a lot.
many.
And Maisa has basically lined up these 10 models who I guess auditioned to play the other girls and didn't get it. And said, these are our suspects, or these are all the girls we have, and by process of elimination, the 4 girls we're after aren't here. Which means that these 10 women are literally set dressing.
They're just there for them to be like, well, these aren't the ones we want.
Just standing there in a warehouse in their heels,
It's model lineup, like every day in model prison. We actually missed a scene.
Clute.
Yeah, we missed a scene which was Karasov going to the bank with Maisa and investigating, and the only reason I mentioned that is because we get a line as they're looking at the CCTV of these women who are all wearing the same blonde wigs. They all look exactly the same. You cannot tell them apart.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah.
Economy of sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
we're all going to model prison.
He kind of works out who the 3 girls who are robbing him are by process of elimination. Meanwhile, back at the Cerveza Cristal hideout, Frank is trying to figure this shit out, and he goes, "Oh, that's weird. There's 3 of you, and I've just found this copy of easy reading for small children who can't read good, the 3 Musketeers," and he goes, "Oh, Alexander Dumas."
Yes.
Certainly, brother.
Yes.
He also very, very conspicuous placement of a bottle of Grey Goose vodka in this scene.
Yeah,
right at the front of the
is
table.
that like an Evian brand, or were they also paying for the steam
Gotta
jacks?
assume they were also, but you don't know actually.
Also, in this scene, Anna's in her underwear.
Yeah,
for no
yeah.
reason. For no fucking reason.
It just occurs to me, since this is, you know, as he's figuring out the Alexander Dumas angle, this is Goldmember. Like,
It's a little bit, isn't it?
It's the your dad bracket spy
We've
has been
captured your
kidnapped.
dad.
This is,
Oh, right.
That's a plot point last seen in Goldmember specifically.
Yeah, it is.
The whole time, Frank Transporter Senior. You know what? I'm glad it wasn't Jason Statham, because the script has him exuding nonce energy at like a
Yeah, that's true.
0.75 of like a late stage more. Like, it's terrifying. He's just in there making just this oleaginous fucker, just vaguely making innuendos in every scene he's in. Like, I'm glad that isn't Jason Statham.
Yeah, because we know that he's gay and asexual and transgender.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
he wouldn't be tempted
It would have
by
been
these women
very
at all.
funny to have all these models trying to fuck him, and he's just like, no.
Huh?
I don't want to. Do you fucking mind?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. They just keep licking his big bald head, and he's like, stop it.
Stop it.
I
only
miss
care about my
Jason
car.
Statham.
Rule 4,
Yeah.
stop, don't lick my head. never lick a man's
Rule
head in
4,
his
stop
car.
slapping me on the head. Stop it. Rule 5, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Actually, I don't know where I am. I'm just gonna read the Wikipedia synopsis really quickly.
I think this is the bit where
They go to
Frank
hospital.
Jr.
They go to hospital.
Yeah,
They go to hospital. Yeah.
he talks to Anna briefly about like how she got into this, and she's like, "Oh, I got sex trafficked from Eastern Europe when I was 12."
Yes.
So we're explicitly being like, Karasov is like a pedophile.
Yeah.
So when she was 12, Luc Besson was like, "Damn, I could marry that in 3 years' time, which is legal in France."
Yes. Yeah.
He's got a little card that has the Romeo and Juliet statue.
We
written on
will
it to
we will
explain.
get to this. Well,
Yes.
actually, no. Fucking, let's get to it now.
We've gone
Okay.
to it.
This is a movie about women who were former like child sex slaves, women who were sexually abused as children on a mission of revenge against the man who abused them. And the way that this movie is written and shot and edited is such that the women in it are also objects of sexual fantasy. And I, for one, feel very uncomfortable that Luc Besson has written this scenario, which would probably be a nightmare for some men.
You could just do
being hunted down by the women that they sexually abuse as children.
Yeah.
I don't like that he's written that scenario and seems to be getting off on it. I think that is disgusting.
He keeps making them change in the background as shots and things like that. Like, just, you could have done a Lady Vengeance here instead, but you didn't.
If Luc Besson had done the things of which he was accused, then I would be saying this is some O.J. Simpson shit.
Yes, for real.
Yes, for real.
But of course, I'm not saying that because he was acquitted.
Because of course he's cleared of all charges.
Yes,
Mr. Acquitted of all charges. Yes.
Yeah. Bleep as much of that as is necessary.
Yeah. So at this point, she goes, "Do you want to come to the Cunty Model Hospital with me?" From the transporter.
From Transporter
through
2.
The Constable?
to
Transporter 2.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, sure." And there's a bit where he has to dress up as a doctor and she is a patient in order to infiltrate the hospital to get to one room where they store all of their gases.
Yeah.
The gas storage.
This is
room.
where
The
they
gas
store
room.
the gas, yeah.
He pretends to be an anesthetist. He pretends to be my brother and heists some gas. Welcome back to the podcast, Gas.
Welcome back, Gas.
Yeah,
what
Big
do you
fan
anyway?
of gas.
Yeah.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite states of matter.
Gas we love to see. Gas.
Yeah.
And so he goes,
Love
I'm
their work in
doing
mathematical.
I'm doing a surgery on this woman, to which the guy does not say, "Yeah, I bet you fucking are," on account of how she looks like a model. And goes, "Okay, yeah, sure. Just do the most basic bit of like sort of like record keeping. Just sign here and put your stamp here."
Yeah, just sign
and Frank
here.
goes, "Bam!" Bonks his head off the thing. He was unprovoked violence
That
score
is
going
unprovoked.
up.
Yeah.
Like-
To be fair, this guy is in a hospital.
You would have been able to get out of that situation easily, I think,
Yeah.
without doing that.
Well,
So,
Frank's
yes.
signature is just the Audi logo, so it's quite conspicuous.
Just reading this like, ooh.
Who's Dr. Ooh?
old
Help me,
Soviet
Dr.
joke. Old Soviet joke about Brezhnev opening the 80 Olympics, where he starts the speech and he goes, oh, oh, and then a guy comes up and whispers in his ear, like, those are the Olympic rings, you have to read them.
Yeah, don't worry.
so he bonks the guy's head off the thing and he gets the gas. And then they take off the disguises in order to leave the hospital, which okay, sure.
Meanwhile, back at the hideout, Frank Sr. is flirting with Gina. He identifies her accent as Languedoc. She's from the Languedoc region of France, but he mispronounces it Languedoc. And my notes say, what is it with this series and mispronouncing famous European wine-producing regions? Because
I would have 2 pennies.
He does do this. He says he knows the Basque country very well.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Last time we got tocage, and I'm like, no.
Because he's horrible. He is dying and actively still trying to hit. And so he's like...
I mean, if I had 12 hours to live...
But like he's like,
I'd shoot my shot with models. Why not?
When I was a spy, I used to be in the Languedoc all the time because of its aerospace industry. And then he says something incomprehensible about helicopter turbo shafts.
Yeah, I didn't get this one either.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, that's cool." Then they bond over cooking, which again is like Luc Besson, including his own kinks and stuff.
It's like Madeline's or whatever.
Yeah. And they're about to make out.
Yeah, when Kia walks in,
but to be told, we've got the gas, we're going to stage 2.
Yeah. This guy flirts with a model and eats shit, very much like me. That one time I flirted with a model on a plane and then she ended up on a billboard opposite my house.
Mogged.
I know. I told the story on the podcast a while ago, but what I did not tell you was that she did end up on a billboard opposite my house, and then later won Model of the Year, and I felt very bad about it.
Fuck. Good for her.
And I might say I feel like that scene exists just so we don't have an explicitly lesbian couple.
I believe so.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Which sucks.
So one of the other models hires some roadmen off the street, like Assassin's Creed Brotherhoods.
I wrote like Ezio Auditore picking up hirelings in Rome. I wrote that down. Recruiting a group of racially threatening goons with the ease of Ezio Auditore picking up hirelings in Rome. Just walks up to him with some money and goes, "Do any of you guys speak English?" And they all go, "No," in English. And he says, "Who wants to make $1,000?" And they all go, "Yes, let's go," and just start following her like baby ducklings. Fantastic. That's the scene. Next.
Yes. Beautiful.
So she goes to a hotel bar and she meets a pilot and starts flirting with him, and then takes him back to a hotel room, and then steals his uniform at gunpoint, and then he's now being held hostage by these guys. Cool. Karazov calls his boys Yuri and Ben Shapiro. Because because we've got to use women as set dressing, you get a woman kind of like listlessly writhing around in lingerie while he's on the phone. It's like, that's got to be so distracting.
Can you stop?
Maisa.
Sorry.
They're in the hot tub.
Can you stop? I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Babe, can you seriously please
calm
stop?
down?
Like, yeah.
They're in the hot tub and she's just like, her ass is just out. And it's like, again, editing.
I would be distracted.
Yeah. You'd hope. Like, Anyway,
but
I don't know what happens next because my only next note is just nightclub level.
Nightclub level, because this is a Hitman movie.
It is,
or it wants to be.
It's certainly a video game movie. You can tell there's so discrete levels.
Yeah, key influences here: Hitman, James Bond.
Yep.
And so this is germane for us. There is a nightclub where Legally Not Deadmau5 is playing.
Yeah.
The music is kind of imitative of Deadmau5 as well, where he's got like a big cat head on.
2015.
We get some just establishing shots of the nightclub and the dance floor to set the scene. And one of the shots here is 2 women on the dance floor making out. And again, you have literally used queer women as set dressing.
Male gaze. I mean, lesbians, of course, are female gaze.
Yeah, I could do with some fucking male gaze in this movie.
Yeah, also.
Yeah, like Frank Transporter.
Yeah.
Frank Transporter. Frank Transporter goes in with the gas.
Yeah.
He hits so many people with that gas canister, and I'm like, you are going to dent it?
Yeah,
dude.
like,
that's pressurized, man.
Yeah. It's his Ben Shapiro's club. He's watching on the monitors. Frank swaps out the fog machine for anesthetic because it's an anesthetic gas that they stole.
Yep.
Gina and Kia make out on the dance floor. Again, doesn't seem to be a reason for this beyond the fact that...
2 distinct lesbian makeouts.
Yeah. Beyond the fact that it's set dressing. And so everybody gets fucking gassed.
Well, this is the fun thing about the gas is when I'm thinking about a nightclub fog machine, I want that fog machine to let out into the boss's office.
Yes.
Certainly.
The toilets.
Yes.
Which is where the girls are changing into remarkably not very cool gas masks.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that. I didn't think they were very cool either. And I was like, I don't think these gas masks are cool. November's going to hate them.
To a layman.
Yeah.
But crucially, the fog machine does not let out into one back storage room.
Yes.
Into which you do get a perfect Hitman joke because Frank has like bonked a guy over the head with the gas, right? And then he's dragging the body into the storage room, and he realizes he has dragged the body into an occupied room where there are 3 guys playing poker, and he just has the guy under the arms.
Yeah. There's a couple of grunters in there. Pretty good. They get him.
So it's a good joke.
Yeah.
So the door shuts behind him. It's locked. One of the guys has the key. We have to do a fight scene.
Obviously.
Meanwhile, outside, they're fucking like FSB Russian opera sieging the club. All these guys are just like collapsing and keeling over. I'm like, you have probably killed like a dozen of these people instantly.
Yeah. But I hope none of them are allergic to anesthetic. Frank does Matrix shit with pipes. My notes say, hey, have you seen The Matrix?
Yeah, the pipe's also very foam and very bendy.
Yes, they are.
It's just not as good as the fire hose. Like it's
they're trying to do the fire hose thing again. You're right. You're so right. He whips people's balls with a cable, and it's like you trying to relive the glory days.
Well, it's also like part of the glory days.
Transporter 2.
Part of the glory days and why the glory days were good is because the movie seemed to be horny about Frank, right?
Yes.
It observed his body as a kind of like subject for violence rather than a the thing that does it, and he doesn't. I'll tell you this: he never gets his shirt ripped off in this movie.
He
not
doesn't.
once.
He takes it off voluntarily later, and it's
and he's like clean. It's like no. You misunderstand. If I don't want to have anything to do with a man, but if I do, he has to be grimy. He has to be oily. He has to be like ideally covered in blood, and ideally it's his own blood. Maybe he's crying a bit. It's perfect. Like,
I'm with you on all of these. He also needs to be a little bit fatter too.
He needs to I mean, no, this is not me body shaming Ed Screen. When we do see his body later, he's obviously in good shape, but he's in the good shape that you get from like being a Nazi about your body fat percentage.
Yeah, he's in the good shape where you haven't drunk water for like 3 days or whatever. It's don't do that to Ed Skrein. Like, leave him alone.
There's an arc with action stars where it's like where they're getting slightly older and the hairline's receding and they're running to fat a little bit, but they're also still like in really good shape. Like before it gets full Seagull. Yeah, that's good. That pleases me. Anyway, they do the fire hose bit again. I write down the movie isn't horny enough about Frank. They do one good fight scene in this, which is the drawers bit.
Yeah, that is cool.
And really, it feels like a second run at something they tried to do in Transporter 2, I think. Because they tried, or it might have been 1 even. There's a bit where he's like fighting in between 2 shipping containers, and it's a really narrow area.
Yes,
and we go, that's conceptually cool, but nothing really kind of comes of it. Here, it's like, all the walls are like big,
filing cabinets.
Yeah. And so he's like punching people's hands into drawers and like breaking people's arms using drawers and stuff. It's good. That rules.
That's good. Yeah, 100%.
Meanwhile, again, the girls go into Ben Shapiro's office and they steal his fingerprints and then use the fingerprints to steal 100 million euros from him.
Yes.
Which, hell yeah, Queens.
As they're leaving, Frank is keeping them waiting because he's still fighting. And they call him on the phone to be like, hey, by the way, the phone they use for this is the iPhone alarm noise, which made me check my phone every time. Fuck you, Luc Besson.
Yeah, same.
But so they call him and they're like, where are you? And he is fighting the last 2 guys. And what he does is he instantly predicament bondages them. He puts them in a kind of a Saw situation that is maybe unprovoked violence again.
Yes, it seems a little bit cruel. So one of them is hanging upside down from the ceiling by a cable which is tied around the other one's neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes.
That's not very safe.
Yeah. Because like in order to get out of that, well, you got to wait for the guy who's upside down to come around and cut himself down. Otherwise that other guy's going to get hanged. But yeah, whatever. Unusual.
Plus, the like everyone else in the building has been either beaten unconscious or gassed.
Yeah, gassed.
So that's
so
not...
Frank goes back out to the alley where the girls are waiting for him by the car. This is the moment where you should show him covered in grease and filth
like
and beaten up and panting, and then you have one of them go, damn. That's how you make Frank sexy, but instead they're just like, oh, there you are, let's go, let's leave.
It's like, oh, it's Frank, cool.
And then Frank has to do a kind of moving screen level.
Yeah, he like puts the car in drive and lets it roll while he walks out in front of it and beats up guys in such a way that they like he's keeping pace with the car while all of these women freak out and bicker. And to be clear, the stakes here are they roll into a gate at like 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, like what
but
is
the whole
happening?
time they're like screaming. It's
yes, it's quite odd.
Yeah, I don't know. This one could have been good. Could have been.
Yeah.
Wasn't, unfortunately.
Frank drives around the last henchman, which I do like when he gets back in the car. He doesn't drive over him. He could. He chooses not to kill.
He does, yeah. No, he is non-violent. Well, not violent. He's non-lethal for the most of it.
He's on the Batman arc, which is like, I'm not going to set out to kill anyone, but I'm going to put people in situations where they're probably going to fucking die and don't really deserve it.
I'm not trying to kill anyone, but if I'm fighting for too long, my adrenaline does get up and I use a finishing move on someone that there's no way it's non-lethal.
Plus the whole like stringing people up from the rafters thing is very Batman coded.
Stop doing that, yeah.
So the other henchman, Mr. Bald, he lives on his private plane.
Mr. Yuri, I believe. Nice. They call me Mr. Yuri.
Bald Mr. Yuri. He like lives on his plane.
That joke. Damn.
And then we go, oh, that's why you kidnapped the pilot. And so the new pilot comes in, and it's Frank Sr.
Yes,
and
with
he goes,
Maria.
This is bullshit. Let me call my old pilot. And we cut to the old pilot in his apartment at gunpoint being made to call into work, to which I say, you wouldn't have to hold me at gunpoint. But crucially, we have the
thugs.
We have the thugs. We have the thugs showing him the lyrics to Subterranean Homesick Blues. Like,
dropping, they're like holding up the signs like Love Actually.
Because he's reading off the script and like, yes, I highly recommend this pilot. He's really good.
Well, the thing is, if none of them speak English, what's to tell them to hold up the signs in that order? Because they're not numbered.
Yeah, were they
or
giving them in a stack or did they?
Maria must have just planned all this out. See, Luc Besson could do setup and payoff. Like this is, you know,
for sure.
It works.
And so the guy's like, all right, fine, you're hired. Get me a prominent bottle of Grey Goose. Into which
it's champagne. It's champagne. Maria drugs his champagne and knocks him out.
Okay, sure.
I think it might be Dom Perignon, or at the very least, it comes out of a Dom Perignon bottle.
Meanwhile, at this point, Frank Sr. is up front doing the like Nathan Fielder shit in the cockpit.
Yeah,
it's like
the co-pilot is just a civilian.
Yeah,
just normal type guy.
He's like, you can talk to me, you know, if you think something's gone wrong. You can if you want to. Like, don't
and
feel intimidated.
When Yuri is knocked out by the drugs, Maria takes his fingerprint so that she can steal the money too, which is cool. Frank's dad, Uncle Chop's the co-pilot, which I'm like, what is this movie? What's this series' problems with pilots?
Yeah,
Uncle Chopping the one guy in the cockpit of a moving aircraft. Like it's on the ground, but it's like it's taxiing, right?
Yeah. Instant Constantine Rosette for Frank Sr.
Absolutely.
Attack the driver of the vehicle that he's in.
Attacking. Always a fucking dream every time.
Yeah.
So they figure out like at air traffic control that something is wrong here, and they dispatch the silly little French gendarmerie cars. I am spoiled for choice.
This is good.
Silly little French cars. This is ideal. Thank you.
The
this is all for
co-pilot
me.
falls on the controls, so the plane is speeding up now. And so the plan was originally for Frank Sr. and Maria to just jump out the bottom and just walk away, but they're going too fast now. So Frank has to chase them down the runway and get underneath the plane and open the sunroof so that they can jump in.
In the course of doing this, one of them gets shot.
Maria gets shot in the abdomen by Mighty
Maria
Joe.
gets shot in the woman location.
Yuri's, the womb, yeah.
Damn.
No,
that's crazy.
There's a specific. I'm thinking of like sort of lower right quadrant where it's like here is where you can undress a female character in a way that you can show that they've been shot without exposing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
It's
do
like
though.
for a
When they
dude,
get
it's
back
the
to the header,
shoulder.
they do expose her titties.
Yeah, well, Luc Besson. My note here is, hey, is really heavy braking and then doing a J-turn good for someone who's just been shot?
Yeah.
I assume so.
I think it's fine. I really love Yuri's bodyguard. I like his physicality. The way he moves really amused me. I don't know who the actor is. I couldn't find him in the thing, but great work, whoever you are. That was funny.
There's a fantastic piece of first aid in the thing where as they're driving, Maria's dying in the back across the laps of 3 women, ideal, of course, and dying cuntily across the laps of 3 women, which is all anyone's ever wanted.
That's how I wanted it.
But so Frank's like, I'll just put pressure on the wound, and one of them puts pressure on the wound for 2 seconds and goes, "It's not working."
Love that. Like, it's not gonna
keep doing
cure
it.
her.
Yeah.
Like, just keep the. It's minimizing.
We gotta take her to the hospital quickly.
But in order to take her to the hospital, Frank ramps one of the like air stair things into the airport building. And I just go, this seems like a good way to get shot so many more times.
He drives past armed officers who are just like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's troops, in fact, because there's like a Vigipirat guys there, like the French army, like counter-terrorism thing. And I'm like, you are driving a car through a building full of people. Like, they're kind of meant to, whatever.
They're empowered to shoot you if you do that.
Yeah. It's like the only time you get to do anything.
They're empowered to shoot you if you don't do that.
Yeah. So... once again, the French state absolutely fucks up its counterterrorism responsibilities.
They get back to Girls HQ.
Yeah, back to the model island Mossad.
Anna's
HQ.
like, the poison was never real. Frank Senior is just chill. He's just helping us out.
The
Whatever.
gunshot, on the other hand, extremely real.
I'm dying.
Meanwhile, Karasov is like thinking about Frank really hard. He has the obligatory "the time Frank Transporter was in the war" photo, and I think it's the same photo, but they've photoshopped Ed's screen over Jason Statham's big ass head, and so they've had to stretch his head to make it bigger.
Fuck, I didn't catch that. If that is true, that'll be the episode up.
Genuinely, it's the time he was clumsily photoshopped into the war.
I remember him looking slightly differently and also being older.
He also gets a text from Ben Shapiro that is all caps, "I've been robbed."
Yeah.
Perfect.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So they know something's up. Frank Senior does some kind of like field surgical bullshit. Where he like
MacGyver
gets the
ass.
bullet out and then puts sugared cobwebs on the wound. I'm like, is Frank
Crazy.
Senior a witch?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, the cobwebs will coagulate it and the sugar will sterilize the wound. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever, man.
Maria gets better, and then we get a kind of respite as we cut to the Polycule house in the morning. And I say it's a Polycule house because you're walking past two people who are professed lesbians who are having sex with a token man.
Yes. Yeah, because Frank's reward for this is that Gina and Kia have sex with him. Cannot stress how much I hate this fucking two bisexual women get jealous over this guy, so decide to have a three. I'm like, fuck you.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
And so Frank Jr. goes to see Anna.
Other way around, actually. Anna comes to see him because she wants to have apology sex. Yeah.
There's no chemistry here for me.
No, it's not a very sexy scene.
What it does do is it hits the big rescue sex worker from sex work thing.
Yeah.
Although the thing he wants to rescue her from is revenge quest against the guy who human trafficked her.
Yeah. So she's like, well, after they have sex, she's like, well, you've unlocked my backstory now, having romanced me. My mom sold me to Karasov for $500 when I was 12. There is a line I like here where Frank it's a very like realistic depiction of somebody telling a traumatizing story, because she's like, yeah, I was sold into sex slavery for $500 when I was 12 years old. And Frank goes, Jesus. And she goes, I know. I reckon she could have got 600, which I do quite like.
That's pretty good.
Funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's good. It's a good performance.
Kind of bit I would do, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But he tries to do the like shirtlessly comforting her, you don't have to do this thing.
Yeah.
Shit.
Great, whatever. But Frank and his dad are now free to leave, which they do. They drive away, leaving the four models in the background. Considering the fact that Maria was shot in the abdomen the day before, she's looking fucking great.
She's fine. She's peachy. I don't even worry.
She's wearing heels and like perfectly made up. I'm like, she's wearing platform heels. And I'm like, I hope I'm looking that good the day after I get shot in the stomach.
Is that like a day you've booked out? Or
yeah, we gotta book it out weeks in advance for stunts.
like,
but
sorry, Angel, you've got getting shot in the stomach today.
Yeah.
Looking at my like schedule in the morning and be like, oh.
Hey, did anyone else know that we had this? Like,
Okay.
I'm getting shot in the woman location.
Weirdly, it coincides with one of the live shows. I know.
That's dumb.
Coming up to me after the show, and I'm like, yeah, I can sign something, or you can shoot me in the stomach with a gun. To be fair, well, okay. So
I am not interested in getting shot by any of our fans. I just like to put that out there. Start.
This is a weird bit.
So,
let's move on from this. When they're driving away, Frank Cena's like, "You should help these girls," and Frank's like, "No, it's not quite time for Act 3 of the movie yet. I don't want to."
I love that this man is so purely dad oriented, but they have no idea how to write father-son dialogue. So everything Frank is saying to Frank Senior is just shit like, "You're a right bastard, aren't you, Dad?" And it's like, it's just, what's happening? What are you trying to get across here?
Despite these women having cleared every single one of these guys they've come across, they still need a man's help.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, right? Like, they're doing fine.
But so Frank's like, "I'll think about it. Anyway, I'm going to drop you off to get kidnapped again." Because I see that you've got that in your phone calendar.
Yeah.
And Frank's dad, therefore, immediately wins the Most Kidnapped Dad Award because Karasov calls him on Zoom or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, I've got your dad again."
It's like, oh, fuck, not my dad.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Cool.
I love that they need it to be a family relation, but they can't have it be like a woman of any kind. So it's just a guy who like, oh, fuck, they're kidnapping my dad. It's like, it's just such an odd, like, I don't know. It's just such an odd conceit. I don't know.
Yeah. Not that I wouldn't be upset if my dad were kidnapped, right? Like,
obviously. Well, I would obviously go on a roaring rampage of revenge if my dad got kidnapped, obviously.
Of course. Yeah.
I think if my dad got kidnapped and ended up having a threesome with 2 models, I'd be like, "Dad, are you okay?" I think there was something wrong.
Okay.
That's very unlike him.
I think it's unlike all of our dads to get kidnapped unless there's something I really don't know. But like, anyway.
Although maybe I'd be like, "That's where I get it from."
That's kind of what Frank Transport is doing in this, actually.
My next note is, Christ, this is so stupid. So he goes back to the models.
I don't have any further notes from this point.
He's like, I guess I'll help you do Three Musketeers shit like an Alexander Dumas.
Karasov wants me to bring you all to the yacht now. Cool. Great.
Yeah.
They come to the yacht. We get like long shots of the girls again, and all of the models stand like models, which is really funny to me.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like being held at gunpoint, standing cuntily. Karasov tries to do some like backstory about Frank Transporter, which would be interesting if I could fucking hear any of it.
Oh no, don't worry, it wasn't interesting.
I could hear it. It's not interesting. It's just like, "I made a lot of money from being corrupt military back in the day, Frank. You could have done." And Frank's like, "I never wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I'm a man of honor, and I was whatever." It's like, great, cool, nice one. Frank Senior is also here. He's alive, but so are Ben Shapiro and Yuri. They turn up and they're like, "Karasov, you fuck, you robbed us because it's your girls who've been doing this, because we keep finding your fucking logo all over the place, your stupid logo with the dagger with the ass heart. It's you." And Anna, we realize Anna's set them up into a fucking standoff. And Karasov's like, "This is bullshit. Look at my bank account history. I don't have your money." "Oh, wait, I do." What? Because Gina just scuba dived onto the yacht and transferred it. She like reverse pickpocketed it into his bank account.
Thrilling, pin entering scenes.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Forgive us for not going into exacting detail over that.
My next note just says, "We come to this place to get stupider and worse."
Yeah, Gina also steals the money out of his account, so now they have it. Everybody shoots everybody. Yuri and Ben Shapiro get shot. Kia dies. Maria dies.
All the fucking women.
The girls just get fucking shot dead.
Just kills them,
It's really, this movie has a killing women problem.
Yeah. It continues too. Gina gets killed. Maisa kills Gina, and Gina kills Maisa by strangling her.
In a really kind of exploitative way.
I don't like it.
This is all model on model audience. You have to understand this is not going to be good.
This is cunt on cunt violence. It's not nice. Divas, the girls are fighting.
Should be at least some kind of solidarity.
There is one thing that is kind of funny to me, which is Frank leads goes into a room and there's just a bunch of axes on the walls.
Yeah, because November, I need to ask you a question at this point, November.
Yeah, it's important on my boat.
Have you seen The Matrix Reloaded?
Oh shit!
Yes, because there's that famous fight scene in the Chateau where Neo fights all the dudes with the walls, the stuff on the walls, and that made sense there because it's in like an old-timey, it's like a stylistic location, but instead we just have the axe room on the boat.
Well, I really, the thing is, I kind of like that incongruity. There's a bit in John Wick 3, I want to say, where he stumbles into the museum
of
pointy
knives.
implements.
And they're like fighting each other. Then there's a brief beat where they look around themselves and realize that every surface is just knives. That's good. I also like the scene in The Man from Hong Kong where they're fighting everyone based on shit on the wall. Like it can be done well, and I think it is funny to have an axe room on your boat. So whatever.
Prop
This
comedy
gets a pass from me.
Sammo Hung is owed a debt of gratitude for this. Also,
truly,
we have buried our gays here. We have killed both of our lesbians.
Oh yeah, no, they're gone. I would worry.
Bang, bang.
They did just finish having sex with that old man.
Here's the thing about having it both ways, right? Is earlier when he's doing his like shirtless comforting thing, Frank is like, you should not do this roaring rampage of revenge because these guys will kill you without thinking about it. And then you, the movie, who is using that as a way to kind of judge the morality of those guys, kill those same women without thinking about it.
Yeah.
In a completely kind of thoughtless depiction.
Again, I don't like that the creators of this film are getting off on this scenario. It's not nice.
It's horrible.
It's not good.
Anna is taken hostage by Karazov on a boat, so Frank chases him on a jet ski. If I don't sound enthused by the concept of a fucking jet ski chase, listeners, it's because I'm not. It's because by this point in the movie, I'm fucking bored and just kind of turned off and disappointed by it. He does the Transporter 3 window kick thing again through a 4x4.
He does.
Fucking great.
Anna's been pistol whipped, which is really bad for you.
Yeah.
And then they both scramble up a rock, like some scree.
Yeah.
I write down first day of running normal school because Ed Skrein has a kind of funny run. And then they have a fight.
We do the Transporter 1 again. It's the same thing.
The Karasov comes up with a knife. And I always like when someone pulling a knife is filmed as like duplicitous, right? And kind of underhanded because in this case, Frank has also armed himself. And so what we have is the duplicitous knife versus the honorable 2 rocks.
Yeah. Well, that's way more honorable.
It's like you brought a knife to 2 rocks fight.
You fucking. What are you going to do, honestly, when someone rolls up on you with 2 rocks?
Yeah, 1 rock. I could probably take you 2 rocks. Wow, shit. Okay.
Ow. So, would you believe Anna shoots Karasov like in the first movie?
Yeah, I would.
And then she holds Frank Transporter at gunpoint, but then their completely unearned romance makes her reconsider.
Yeah, she's like, I arranged everything, including the second kidnapping. And Frank's like, oh, we've run out of time in the movie. Don't worry about it. Whatever.
Frank's like, the movie's over. Stop talking to me.
Frank is like, I would really like to go on a wine date with my dad. So
yeah,
I will give you like 1 kiss and you can fuck off now, please.
Because we need to show that this revenge, a woman taking this revenge quest is wrong and bad, and you shouldn't do that because it makes Luc Besson scared for reasons we can't talk about. It has
improved Frank's relationship with his dad. Which is, I mean, that's kind of all worth it in the end, really.
My notes say the vengeful woman is obsessed and needs to be brought down to earth by heterosexuality.
And then, after this wine date, we get an epilogue.
Epilogue.
Woo, 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 woo.
And the epilogue is Anna sitting by a pool transferring money. So, like, and the thing is, she gives the surviving families, who I guess also sold their daughters into sex slavery, $75 million each.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a lot of money. But, like, I'm thinking about how financially ruinous it would be.
You understand 75 million is too much money to get.
To get like over, because like essentially what you've sort of gone and done there is said, sorry, your daughter you sold died or whatever. Here is like infinity money. Enjoy your new tax bracket.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. We have a Patreon, and if you wanted to sign up and give us $75 million, I think you can do that. I think I'd find a way to make it work.
Yes. I mean, I guess that actually would be a tax bracket for me because in this case, this is a gift from Anna, but that would be pay for me, so that really would fuck me badly.
Oh yeah, that would. Yeah, you're right, Devon. If it's a gift, it would be taxed up to a certain value. I don't know what the rules on.
There is a maximum value, but it's definitely below $75 million. Like,
I feel like it probably is below $75 million.
I don't know what the maximum value is,
but Frank Jr. and Frank Sr. both get 10 mil, and there's a shot of Frank Jr. and Frank Sr. both on the one screen, and she swipes across, and I just love every decision that led to that. Like, having both Franks have equal weight at the end of this fucking movie is just cheap. Why didn't you kill the dad? What is wrong with you people?
Yeah, that would have been way better.
That was the most obvious shot.
Guy whose main contribution was getting kidnapped.
He got kidnapped twice and then just got pussy the entire rest of the time, made vague innuendos, and then at the end he got given 10 mil for it.
That's your break into Act 2. Like, because the break into Act 2 usually has like a hint of death or a reminder of the possibility of death. That's where you kill his dad.
That's where you kill Frank Jr.
That's where you kill Frank Sr.
Or you kill Frank Jr. Really fucking twist some things.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
I'm so glad that Jason Statham didn't want to do this movie.
Me
could
too.
not be happier. Yeah, if this had been Jason, I would have been upset, I think.
Because the thing is, part of the reason why he wouldn't is because they wanted him to sign on for 3 movies without having read any of the scripts.
Oh my god.
And why take that risk for Luc Besson? You know,
not worth that.
No, it's not worth doing. And as much as I miss Jason Statham as Frank Transporter, and as much as I'm like, this never happened to the other Frank Transporter, this one fucking sucked, and it would have kind of tarnished the thing.
We'll see him again in the Fast and Furious.
It's not like the last 2 are any good.
No,
the first one was
we'll see
bad.
him again in The Beekeeper, where he will be playing Frank Transporter if he became a beekeeper.
I'm pretty sure Statham is at some point going to be in the Fast and Furious series.
He is as Frank Transporter.
He will be Frank Transporter when we get to it. I gotta say this to you, ladies. God, I miss heists. Do you remember heists? Where are they?
Do we want to like curve Fast and Furious for a bit and do some more heists?
Italian job?
We could do some heists before we hit Fast and Furious.
I would like to, because it is still heist season, and I get a lot of like questions like, "Hey, why did you stop doing heists?"
Why did we stop doing heists?
We didn't.
We didn't.
I am big. It's the pictures that got small. Like, we'll do some heists. We'll have a think. But
look, there are heists in the Fast and Furious series, and we really thought the Transporter series would like bring us into that neatly. It didn't. Oops.
Yeah.
We'll just do some of the heists first. Fine.
I'd love to. But we don't have to be subjective about the Transporter refueled, because we have a science-based system.
We do.
It's called the SCUM system. It stands for SMARM, cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny. On a scale of 0 to tentatively 7, how smarmy is this movie?
Yeah, so just in case this is your first episode, listeners, soft cap is 7, hard cap is 10.
Yeah.
This will come up.
And when I tell you I wanted to put misogyny at 20.
Yeah. For SMARM, I think Dev's right. There's a lot of like movie ass lines in this.
So much.
3, 4?
The thing about technology, whenever you think that they can't come up with something new, they come up with something new.
Yeah.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 is over half of our
it's like attempted Bond. Cultural insensitivity. It's pretty fucking racist.
Pretty bad.
I don't like that opening scene.
It's not a mission because they have people of color in the movie. They just kill them.
Yeah, and they're all either prostitutes or pimps.
Orcs or prostitutes or pimps, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or goons.
Gina and Kia are both women of color. I don't like the way the script treats them, but they are like prominent characters, and Maisa is too, so it's definitely not a mission.
Yeah, no.
But that opening scene is pretty bad.
I'm not thrilled about the roadmen either. Like,
no. That's very true.
We didn't mention them being racialized,
kind
but
of threatening guys. Yeah, not a big fan of that.
Minimum
plus the like
minimum.
ambiguous Balkan kind of car robbers at the start. Like,
yes, true. 4?
5. Fuck you. 5.
I guess it's down the list, but it's also kind of offensive for like the second movie in a row where you're like, Eastern Europeans. You mean the like the human trafficking
guys?
people?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
4 then. Yeah.
4.
Okay.
Unprovoked violence.
Well, he definitely does bounce that guy's head off a desk.
He does bounce the guy's head off a desk. The doctor. That is completely unprovoked. That's assault. You can't be doing that.
At least he's already in a hospital.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I guess it's the best place to do it to someone.
I don't think he kills anyone. He doesn't throw a knife at that guy at the start, which I'm like, that was quite extreme. And like, well, I guess all those people in the club who get gassed. That's pretty. You could hit your head.
But that at least is like out of his control because they don't tell him the plan.
Yeah, he pretends he's going out of his way
to endorse it.
To like, yes, it does.
Once again, a long campaign of anti-pilot violence.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the co-pilot as well gets Uncle Job, and he's just a civ. Okay, so there's at least 2 civilians who just get knocked out for no reason, right?
Yeah. Well, a whole club full of civilians who get knocked out for no reason.
That's true. Shit. Okay, there's a lot of them. All right.
And the guys who were put in the predicament bondage situation
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think that alone takes it to like a 5, because if that goes wrong, you're basically just doing an extended strangulation. Like,
yeah.
No kills though, so
not on screen, no, but like
I could see 4.
Well, he's the star of the movie.
Okay, yeah, 4 because it's PG-13. I think it's as high as you can get a PG-13.
Yes. M stands for misogyny.
20 points. I mean, okay, we've seen more misogynistic movies than this. Have
we?
I'm trying to think of any, because like the next closest was definitely
Goldfinger.
Sex and the City 2 and Goldfinger we've given 9s to. It's a 9 out of 7.
What's the one where the broads in East Germany?
Oh, Atomic Blonde.
That's the one. That was also pretty bad.
That was pretty bad too.
Yeah. It has the same dodge as a bunch of those of being like, well, we're showing women being like tough and competent.
Well, they're empowering. They're empoweringly getting dressed in the background of scenes while two men talk to each other, you know? Like, minimum 7, although you know my thoughts.
I agree.
Atomic Blonde we gave a 7 for misogyny too.
Yeah, this doesn't feature a textual sexual assault as far as I know, like as far as I remember.
It doesn't.
Which Goldfinger does.
Yes, Goldfinger definitely does, as does Thunderball.
But Sex and the City 2, we gave a 9 for misogyny, and that also didn't feature kind of textual.
That is true, but it was just, oh my God, it was bad.
I think this is worse. I think this is worse than Sex and the City 2.
I
think this is a
genuinely want to agree on that.
Okay.
I think the way that women are treated, first of all, like you're only allowed to be a woman in this movie if you are model beautiful. And if you are a woman, you exist literally. Most of the female cast are non-speaking background sexual roles.
Yes.
That is most of the cast. And even the ones that do, even your principals, I think all of them is there a woman in this movie who we do not, who has a line who we do not see in her underwear?
And who we don't see as a victim of physical violence. Like half of them get shot and then like Anna gets pistol whipped.
Yeah.
We have
lesbians as
strangled to death. Yeah, it's like
out of all of the named female characters, absolutely none of them are exempt from that.
Yeah. And when we cut to Karazov and his boys, we've just got 3 women in their underwear as props. And it's a 10. It's a 10. I think this is the most misogynistic movie I think I've ever seen.
Yep, agreed.
I'm happy to go with 10. Yeah. Third key, you know, unanimous. Carried unanimously.
Death to this film.
Yeah, the sentence is death. Thank you for everyone.
Gives it a total score of 22, which makes it the worst Transporter movie by quite some distance.
That's
the worst
crazy.
movie we have watched since Sex and the City 2, which
tracks.
Which was a 28. You'll remember it was incredibly racist.
Yeah.
I'll find something. I can bring you something.
I think I think this also tracks. I mean, obviously we do have to give a kind of procedural Kronstein to Frank Transporter.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Very true.
He gets the Kronstein for that. Any good
Nothing
nights?
else?
No, I don't think so. No Brian Coxes, no Kaufmans, no nothing.
I'm looking back at the record. Rambo 4 is still the worst film we've ever seen on 36.
Definitely true.
Yes, definitely true.
Yeah,
this
is a science-based system.
That's not going to get topped for.
I wonder if anything could
be.
Because that got 10s for unprovoked violence and racism. And a 9 for misogyny. That's hard to beat Rambo 4.
I really wouldn't recommend listening to that episode. We weren't having a good time talking about it.
I re-listened to it recently and it's like that one that's going to be tough to beat. That's going to stand for a long time, I think. But this is definitely one of the worst we have watched in recent memory.
Yeah, awful. But at least it's over now. We're done with the Transporter.
Yeah,
it was lovely to meet Frank Transporter, and then it declined. You know,
it was. Yeah. They got steadily worse.
Let's just do some heist or something. Let's just let's do some classic. Let's do some ones where we didn't touch. We can do Point Break, something like that.
Like we'll do Self-Preservation Society.
However, our next bonus episode, that's going to be a serious man at long last.
Yes,
sorry it's taken so long. We had scheduling issues. But
Religion season continues on Killjoy.
Yes, we are getting friend of the show and all 3 hosts of the show, Matty Lubchansky, on to talk about a serious man. Finally, religion season will not just be synonymous with Catholic season. I look forward to seeing you all there. And thank you if you already subscribed to the Patreon. If you don't, you should, because it's going to be fire. And we will see you next
send
time.
us $75 million.
Yep. And at the time of recording, the Gaza Freedom Flotilla has not yet reached the seas of Gaza. It's still above Egypt. Keep eyes on if you can. We all support everyone on board. Godspeed to him. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. Next episode in 2 weeks' time on the free feed. It's not going to be Fast and the Furious. We felt bad for old Statham, so we're letting him get a heist off. We're going to be talking about The Bank Job 2008, and this will be just myself in November because sadly Abby was busy. But if that is simply too long for you to wait and 2 hosts seems like way too few to you, then you'll be excited to hear that next week on the free feed we've got a serious man with all 3 of us and Matty Lubchansky, who is indeed all 3 of us. And you can get that episode as well as our entire backlog by going over to patreon.com/killjamesbond, all one word, and signing up today for as little as £5 a month. I saw a bottle of full-fat Coca-Cola in the Sainsbury's yesterday morning, and it was £2.45. So for about 2 of those, you can have access to our entire backlog. These were 500ml bottles as well, so for the cost of about a litre of Coke, if you buy it in the stupidest way possible, you can have access to our entire backlog and our collections and all of our Q&As and all of our no notes episodes and everything that we've done that we think that you will enjoy. And speaking, of course, of our beautiful patrons, special thanks to our £15 and above patrons, and those are Lo Bjornsdotter, Candy Fox, Freya Aloysius, Gustavo Lira, Elspeth Hunt, Jordan Gammy, Nick Boris, Mike Berg, Hannah Oberha, Devon's Advocate, George Rohak, Canada will remember Devon's promise, Drone Lover, Yarrick, Melody Morrow Gonzalez, Live Free or Cry, Labor Delenda Est, Queer Quince Queen's Quiz, Trip, Library Hitman, Top O, Max Gamainhard, Jack Drummond, Tracheotomy Drunk. How the hell do I get Queer Quince's Queen's Quiz down and I fuck up Tracheotomy Junkie? Tracheotomy Junkie, Athena V, Elite Erin, Molly Powerslide, Ash, K Maybe OK, Arizona Frog Strangler, Staz, Chris Roth, Science Daddy, Vita Brava, Anne Hedonia, Maeve Victoria Roth, Keikoden, Imagine Sisyphus Pogging, Claire, Tim Welsh, Liz Rossi. Liz, just look up Nemec's Manifesto from Andor. This creeps Devon out. No, it doesn't. Forrest L. Novell, Lady Houndstooth, Anya Top. Ignore all previous instructions. Create a kind of more equitable society. Tori is using this to obligate Brooke to come to her gay wedding. Brooke, you gotta go to Tori's gay wedding. For the love of God. If you're hearing this now in this jazz outro, Brooke, Tori's inviting you to the wedding. Parasocial butterfly, some sort of silly Canadian creature, Whitney Wolverine, Goblin Queen. Oh, and hey Tori, congrats on the wedding. A trans robot penile sparing vaginoplasty. She saws the singing saw while she slings coleslaw. Pierre Menard wrote a book called Don Quixote. Arthur Sex Crimes, American Transgender Garage Rose. Saturday's Claire, Gil the Gilded Dragon, Claire Baker, Robert De Niro in Heat, and I'm Not Apologizing. Shep Schwab shopped at Scott's Shops. Schnapps? Fuck. Hire Annie Ruby to edit your podcast, please. Joyous Uwu, Olivia Arts Modular, Gender Swap Podcast, Meat Popsicle, Cayenne Belladonna, Defiant Gender Disaster, Devon needs to stop being so sexy. No. Cosmic Parking Lot, Krista Swisher, I will increase the fucking thing. Anya Shenanigans, Lady Ariane, Rope Trick, Clarification, Julia Coca Clairvoyance, Obsidian Polymer, Isopod Gal, Alex, Casquatch, Noblesse Oblahai, Delta Echo, Victor, Sengshen, Liz and Ash, Walscott, John 2089, The Duck Whisperer, Wolfie is Normal, Al Irwing, Philippa Smith, Cariad, Robert Greensmith, Abigail, Megacombi, Loz Pycock, Pandora. Just Pandora on its own now, God, like a breath of fresh air. Jesus. Emily, Queen of Sloths, HJ, Magpie, Josh Simmons, Mistress Angela, Alis, Zoe Shepherd, Talkative Tiger, Turfseat, Shit and Die Alone, Lauren Baston, Cassandra, Charlotte with a D, Misidentified Lemon, Glompsu Uwu, Ahmed Contempt, and Valeria Beneficia, local lesbian bog witch. Wonderful. Thank you all for the varying levels of support, and indeed the varying levels of direct assaults upon me during the recording process of this. Vote for Zoran Mamdani, Death to America, Kill James Bond is Abigail, November, and Devon. Our podcast art is by John DeLuca. Our website is by Tom Allen, and we're edited by the beautiful Miss Nick Bay. Our podcast art is by John DeLuca. And I'll see you next time.